57 plays of one Mr. Tony Adams today. First play, Adams with crunch, more control. Okay, so they run a crunch, which is just a combination of wham, wham and trap. And trap is offensive lineman catching other defensive linemen, and then you have the crack blocks or the um wham blocks, which is the tight ends, whatever it may be, cracking or whamming the defensive lineman. So combination, Tony Adams, bottom right of the screen, whiffs on a tackle. Okay, and that was something that we saw in 2022 with Adams as well, and a problem here for him. Again, but they run this crunch. It's a crunch run. Cook has a wide open gap, and Tony Adams fills. The problem with him filling right here is he needs to fill with better control, right? He gets a little bit too flat as he approaches, and as he's flat, he also has really big steps. One big step, two is going to be another huge step. So it's really hard for him to gear him down, or it's really hard for him to gear himself down. Barely touches Cook, which again, there's different levels of bad tackles or missed tackles, right? When you barely touch a guy, it's very bad. If you just whiff on a guy, he breaks an arm tackle. Okay, not so bad. This one is bad because of how cleanly he got beat there. Again, we want him to take smaller steps, be in more control, break down, have a better base, be better in a better spot to react to movement. He wasn't. Adams man match break top slot. Okay, so he's top slot right here. Let's watch him. So this is where you do benefit with Tony Adams. He's definitely, so he played, I believe was it Illinois or wherever he played. He played corner and safety, at least to my remembrance. So he has some pretty good coverage skills, and this is a good play right here. Off man, gets nice and low into his back pedal, small, choppy, controlled steps, staying right over the top of the tight end. Doesn't open his hips up too early. He starts to gear down as he feels that break point coming, as evidenced by the shoulders coming up. Other shoulders are down, starting to come up a little bit. Tony Adams recognizes that, feels the break coming, sees the hard plant off the right, breaks on it, stays on the upfield shoulder, gets hands on. That's a good man rep. Really, really good off man rep. Really good control. Really good, really good balance in the pedal. Good reaction. Good break to the upfield shoulder. All good. Adams beat 3rd and 7. Too much ground. Okay, so he's right here, I believe, on this receiver, which again, he's a guy who, and the Jets are going to ask their safeties to do it, which is almost weird that they don't emphasize safeties and stuff, because they're put in spots where they have to cover man on man, whether it be tight ends or slot receivers, relatively often. So interesting, but he's right here in the bottom slot, giving up too much ground to the receiver, which he does. He gets beat for a first down on 3rd and 7. Now, we could play a little bit past the 6 if we're Tony Adams here. What do we not want to do? We don't want to play so far past the 6 that we can't react, or react in time. That the line to gain is, let's say, the 18-yard line. Or sorry, the 23-yard line, let's say. Tony Adams has to put himself in a spot where he could play the 23-yard line no matter what. Okay. So closes or opens up a little bit early. He gets into a back pedal, which turns into him opening up. Again, opening up in a situation like this too is even a little bit risky, just because now that makes you susceptible to inside breaks as well. So I wish he weaved to stay over the top here, stayed square, and didn't open up, and was more ready to play that 23-yard line, because he's a good 5 yards off of it. Receiver breaks. It's not even a good break. It's actually not. Yeah, it's okay. It's not the best break in the world, but Tony Adams is not able to get back to the ball. Why? Playing too far off the line of scrimmage, opens his hips up a little bit too early, especially in that situation. Don't want to do it. Bad angle from Tony Adams. He's probably topmost right here. You probably see his feet at the very top of the screen. Is he going to come? Yep. Okay, so bad. That's a bad one, right? We got to be aware of what's going on here. And if you're not confident that you can get to him and shoot this gap before he gets underneath of this offensive lineman, then guess what you got to do? You got to go over the top here And because you're the last level. If somebody passes you, the team is screwed, right? So, let the linebackers take the more aggressive angles, let the defensive linemen take more aggressive angles. When you're the safety, you have to get over the top. Because if you did right there, you're talking about maybe tackle them at the 40, let's say, 30, 25, 20, 15. Get to the 15-yard line from the 40. You're talking about 25 yards there. Um, Now, Tony Adams, we're okay with being aggressive sometimes, but it's about when. Is he really going to get there right now? He's not. He's got to recognize that. And the approach angle, like right here, I'm not even that mad at. It's you got to have that secondary awareness to say, okay, I'm not getting to him. He's clearly flattening out. Cannot get underneath that block and still chase him down. Get over top of it. Needs better awareness on that one. Just better angles. Adams bad angle. Few plays later, touchdown. Okay, so we had a bad play there in terms of the run game. We have another bad play here in terms of the run game. He's top again, top most on your screen. Okay, now we have running back screen, bobble, completely whiff on a tackle. Now why? Flat. He's just too flat. That's all it is because he actually does break down. I like to see him break down even a little bit more. The steps, even though he is breaking down, they're still pretty large steps. So that's being a little bit nitpicky to be completely transparent. He could break down a tiniest bit more, and then with that, the angle's too flat, right? You're asking him to cut underneath of you right there. He does, again, barely touches him. Why? Just too flat. Now it's not like, and it's a little bit different in terms of like, playing the upfield shoulder as like a corner to a receiver. Similar here in terms of playing like the upfield shoulder, but you do want to cheat a little bit more to the outside because the pursuit's gonna come. So like try to play him like heads up, but approach from like the inside shoulder and like flatten out a little bit, like aiming point of like the helmet, but we don't want to get too flat, whereas he can cut underneath of us. Too flat, cuts underneath, touchdown. Okay. Open field tackle. I guess this is a good one from Tony Adams. Let me if I'm having issues with my Wi-Fi. It looks like I might be. Open field tackle from Tony Adams. He's probably right here. That's his shoe, I would assume. Yeah, he's gonna come down from here. There we go. Better. Better in space, right? We had another screen to a running back. Works up the field. Tony Adams closes ground on it, but is patient for an inside cut as well. The sideline is his friend right here. He doesn't have to race to the outside. Different situations call for different, approach angles. Sideline's there. Okay. Play a little bit more over the top. I'm completely okay with that. Sees him cut underneath the tight end's block. Breaks down. Gets in a good spot. 2. Cut him off, make the tackle. Now, ideally, we cross that helmet, right? Instead of just wrapping up the legs and diving, because even if you do grab right here, what do we want? Like if you're to do like that Seattle like roll type of, not like roll type of tackle, it's like a scoop, like a rugby tackle. You're gonna have to at least stay attached here, then drive your legs and scoop them up. Basically scoop them up from their mid thigh or like knee area, and you scoop them, right? So good angle tackle form. A little bit sketchy there. Adams man rep top inside slot. Okay, so we have Tony Adams right here. Man coverage on number 3 right here. Good job. Patience, staying over the top. Now, again, certain situations call for different things. I usually talk about like opening up at that, 4 to 5, 6 yard window. When you're playing a tight end and you're faster than him and you're more athletic than him, then take advantage of it. Make that opening up window at 2 to 3 yards instead of 4 to 5 or something like that. So good job staying over the top. Patient, runs his feet just to stay maneuverable, basically. Runs the feet. Tight end commits to the outside. Tony Adams commits to that side as well. Gets a hand on. Incidental contact, stays right over top of the route. It's a nice patient play. Like how patient he is. And then again, explode to the outside when the tight end commits to there. Some good man reps. So far the trend has been good man, bad tackler. Okay. Until now, Adams bad man rep, when and when not to be patient. Okay, so now, okay. So I'm assuming I'm going to talk about third down here, 3rd and 10. So let's see, a little bit too patient on 3rd down. Yeah. So the receiver runs, whether you want to call it a stem out or more of like a circus route. Again, doesn't really matter so much to me. Tough ask for Tony Adams here. Off coverage it's a tough spot because he's playing over the top of this route, plays over top of it, goes to open up at that 4 to 5 yard window, but gets spun around. Now, what we want to see here is ideally, because it's a man rep, you have a deep middle safety. You do not have to jump so hard to the middle, because if he does take this on like a post or an over, you're hoping that a guy like Jordan Whitehead's gonna cut it off or play it deep. So we do want to play this outside in and not react to any inside movement just based on where that safety is. He reacts a little bit too much to the inside movement. Again, he can react here, but I would rather him have had heavy outside leverage. So even if he does open up a little bit, he's going to be able to speed turn and get back over top of the route, most likely, or at least, more so than he does. Now I believe that's Jerry Jeudy, who can run routes pretty well. But with that being said, again, tough spot, but know where your guys are. Jordan Whitehead's playing over the top right there. There's no reason to play that the inside break so hard there, especially CJ Mosley seemingly playing like a hole or looking for anything crossing right there. So opens up. Maybe slightly too early with having over the top help. Okay. Adams top slot, beat vertical, jump split. Top slot right here. Versus the number 2. Okay. So what do we not? We do not want him to not run his feet and plant and go with an all or nothing punch right here. So feet are pretty stale. We want the feet to be a little bit more active. As he comes into that contact window, what do we have? Hopping back onto the heels, and a wide punch. In no world is that punch going to be like overly effective, at least how effective you want it to be. Because why? Because his momentum is going backwards. And your momentum is going backwards, it's going to be hard to create any real pop forwards. So we have that. We have the jump split, which makes him less laterally mobile, just mobile in general. Misses the punch. Goddard times it, wins to the inside. And if this was a pass, he's wide open for a touchdown. We need to run those feet a little bit more. Again, not an all or nothing type of punch. Right there. Adams shoot effort tackle. Okay, 22. Inside zone. Inside zone. Tony Adams sees it. As he approaches, he sees AJ Brown coming to make the tackle. Slips past it. Just uses his athleticism. Attacks the inside shoulder. Gets hands on. Gets chucked a little bit to the inside, but bounces off of Jason Kelce. Effort to dive and get back in on the play. Wrap up that leg. So he gets a little bit of a pinball here, right? Like he's getting bounced around and stuff, but you see the willingness. Again, shoot downhill, see the block, try to defeat it. We probably wanted to be a little more proactive in taking on that block instead of just kind of trying to just move past his level. Like, hey, bring some physicality and pop AJ Brown in the mouth. So he gets pinballed a little bit right there, but still makes the effort to make the tackle, which is good. Adams quick fill, tackle for loss. 22. Okay, so now I have a pin and pull. Pin and pull. Tony Adams sees the run action, sees the big bubble. I'm not sure if there's an exchange with Jermaine Johnson, or Jermaine Johnson has the C or the B there. If they give him that option, he takes the B. Tony Adams fills the C, sees the run coming. Obviously, Jermaine Johnson does a good job of beating the tackle, which then results in him taking up 2 blockers instead of 1, which is awesome. Allows Adam to shoot cleanly. Gets underneath of the block. Widens, gets hands on, makes a tackle. Good job. Okay. 12. Adams man rep. And right here versus Goddard, right side of your screen. Again, for the most part, man is pretty good. Like that's I would say his overall athleticism, like range and speed, man coverage is his best aspects. I would say the more physicality type stuff Playing in the box, taking on blocks, making tackles is his weak point, but coverage is his strong point.